Hi, welcome to step 7 of Empowers. R, release the blocks and go for it. This is an important part of the Empowers process because as you're working to be your best self and be your best friend and set free your inner rock star and live your purpose with more energy and more time and perspective, do you know what's going to happen? Guaranteed, you're going to get afraid. You are going to run into blocks and barriers, and that's going to be tough. Things are going to start moving and start changing, and our body has a funny reaction when we begin doing something different. Doesn't matter if it's good or bad. Our body does not make a value judgment about this thing is good, this thing is bad. We have what we're used to, and when we start doing something new, our body says, hey, that's different. Even if the new thing we're doing is better for us, our body's just like, oh, I don't know that I like that. And because our body is a little freaked out about doing something new and getting a different set of neurotransmitters going through it on a regular basis, it begins to shoot off messages in your mind so that your brain gets your mind to have you begin to doubt, oh, maybe I shouldn't do this. And that's where fear really comes in. So as we're dedicated to making changes and living our best life, and we're like, all right, I'm gonna do it, and we start doing it, then all of a sudden, all of these doubts come up. And we think, oh, what if I can't? What if this won't work for me? What if there's just something wrong with me? Now, if you've ever tried to go on a diet or start a new habit or make certain that you're gonna work out when you haven't been for a while, any new thing, as I said, even when the new thing is good and you're committed to it, it can be really hard to not only get the motivation, but keep going with the motivation. So part of Empowers is knowing that there are going to be blocks, and that's okay. You can work with them. Instead of saying, I'm afraid this doesn't work for me, release the blocks and go for it means saying, I know that there's going to be concerns and fears and moments that I'm uncertain that come up, and that's okay. This is about you sort of look fear in the eye and say, you know what, fear, I get it. I get that you're here. And for a moment, we're going to walk side by side because I am going to get to that place that I want to. I also want you to keep in mind that when we begin to feel fear, bing, it sets off that stress reaction. We talked about stress a little bit ago. So what happens is that we sort of automatically begin feeling emotions in our body that are connected to physical sensations. Here's a little tip. You may or may not know this. The physiological things we feel when we're anxious are the exact same physiological feelings that we feel when we're excited. It's true. People look at me all the time and they're like, no, that's not true. I know what anxiety feels like. That does not feel like it. It's true. Excitement and anxiety bring about the same responses in the body. But remember we talked about making a choice about how you see things? So if you're feeling really anxious or you're really in fear or doubt, one of the things that happens is that you might have those responses and you think, oh, this is anxiety. Oh no, I should back off. And instead, consider thinking, oh, hey, maybe this is excitement. Even if you're not able to, or you really don't want to say, okay, it's not excitement, that's okay. But what I want you to do is say, it's all right to get nervous. It's all right to have some of that fear. You can still keep going forward. There's a super important new piece of information that's coming out through neuroscience. And one of the people who writes about this a lot, another great person, Dr. Joe Dispenza. But one of the things that we're really beginning to understand through quantum physics is that how we understand reality is really based on what we think. There are so many studies that say we can literally use our brain to envision and create something that becomes our reality. Sometimes you might hear people talk about this as manifestation, or there's a lot of stuff about The Secret. That's a book and a movie that talks about the same kind of thing. The truth of the matter is that based on quantum physics, there's all infinite possibilities in the world, and things become real as we put our attention on them and bring them into our present. And so knowing that you're going to have fear also gives you an opportunity to know that what you make of this and where you go with this is going to be up to the choice you make in your mind as to whether you're just going to label this fear and go back to the place you were in before, or whether you're going to say, hey, this fear, this is about me moving forward, and I'm okay with that. Even though those blocks are going to come up, I am still going to go for it. That's the whole basis of step 7. Release the blocks and go for it. See you soon.